So the Ultimate Acting Program is for people that are really passionate about acting and they want to move away from their current career or job and move into becoming a professional actor. We are aiming for a very high level. We're looking to take people from, where they currently are, which is usually at the very start, beginner level, and take them to that high artistic level where they're really into the craft and looking to really hone their craft and become the best that they possibly can be. And it's not uncommon for my students maybe to have like 3 or 4 offers from different agents, and they actually have to kind of decide which agent they want to go with.
A year ago, I could not call myself an actor and I hadn't really done any acting. I'm now an actor with an agent a year later. Like, what more could you ask for?
The Brian Timoney method is really the only one that I'd want to follow. He's brilliant, and I've been getting auditions, I've been having positive feedback, and none of this would have happened if I hadn't participated in the Ultimate Acting Program. Meeting everyone has been brilliant, and that really made the experience as well, because you're in a group of people where you're all really passionate about acting, you've all got the same goal, and it's not competitive between you, it's just a really supportive atmosphere, and I think Brian really cultivates a support system around you.
So on the Ultimate Acting Program is a real comprehensive actor training and career launch. So from the very beginning, from the first day when you come in, I'm going to put you under the microscope, as it were, from an acting point of view. And I personally watch everything that you do during this process concerning the acting process. We take a small amount of people and everyone gets a lot of focused and individual attention in order to get to the levels that we need to get to.
It's an experience that was fabulous, actually. I saw the confidence grow in so many people on the course. Appearances changed. It was really, really incredible.
So what I teach is what I would call unconscious acting. When you're acting, you don't want to be thinking like you, if you like. You don't want to be perceiving the set or the stage around you as you would. And often an actor can fall into that trap.
Like, everyone has an internal dialogue. Like, you have that little voice that tells you this isn't really happening. With his thing, you can kind of leave that behind, what we call emptying. So you leave that behind, close your eyes, just let yourself open, let yourself accumulate these circumstances, and they happen for real.
That is the difference, actually, in the way that the 2 different ways of thinking about acting, because if you are aware of yourself, then you're walking on stage or on set, and you might say a line and suddenly you think, oh, that didn't sound too good, or it did sound good, or you become aware that you made a movement and you think, oh, I shouldn't have done that. If you have that experience, then your acting is very conscious, it's not unconscious at all, and we need it to be unconscious because human beings largely work unconsciously, and that's what we're trying to reflect. So this is really about transcending yourself. You have to transcend your own ego, who you are, in order to kind of enter into the mind of the character.
With those circumstances, for example, the imaginary circumstances, you can feel the shift in yourself. So like when you step into that character's shoes, you're safe. That's what I found really interesting, was being able to shift, being able to just take it all on like that.
Through my approach, the way that I work is that the character will take over you. And so I know that sounds a bit weird, but that's actually what happens. And sometimes my students can get to the end of doing a scene and go, wow, I've got no idea how I did that, what actually happened.
He kept guiding me through it as the scene was going. It's like a little whisper in your ear. You call it the Timoney cricket. He just keeps saying, that's good, carry on. I think as I got to putting my jacket on, I burst into tears. And it was really overwhelming as well, but in a good way. As soon as we finished the scene, it felt like a very proud moment to be able to show that vulnerability, I guess, showing what you could do with a scene when you just took action, as he said.
Because it actually shows that you're not thinking about what you might be concerned about as an actor, or what the audience might think of you, or what their perception is. You're totally in it. The thing about the approach is, it works and it's really effective, and that's backed up by the fact that, we've got students out there working at the coalface of the industry. The fundamental difference, I guess, between the method and Timoney method, my method, if you like, is that when we are teaching the actors how to get into the mind of the character and to work unconsciously, we show them how to get there immediately. We take them straight to inspiration, straight to the unconscious, which in my experience, even with method acting previously, is quite a tough thing to teach someone. It can take quite a long time, in fact, to get that concept actually embedded and happening in an actor. But this happens really quick.
It's acting on not a surface level, but a deeper, more meaningful level.
Every exercise in the year was focused on helping you grow your imagination and helping you to believe in those imaginary circumstances to the point where you could live in those imaginary circumstances as the character seamlessly.
Once we had this technique, they were able to kind of slip into the mind of the character almost instantly. And if you told me before I found these methods and techniques that could be achieved, I would have called you a liar. I really would, because I'm not one for shortcutting. I'm not one for trying to look for the easiest route. But then again, I'm not going to turn my back on something that is highly effective and very quick, obtaining the result that you're looking for.
When I look back at the beginning of the course, and how I found it so hard to learn lines. In fact, all I thought about was lines. Whereas now it's more about feelings and emotions, and the words are just in my subconscious mind and they just follow through.
Many actors, professional actors even, they tend to learn lines the wrong way. And I'll tell you what that means is that most actors, when they get a script, they start to look at the lines, and as they start to read them, they start to kind of in their head, and sometimes even out loud, pretend how they're going to say them. And so as they learn them, they're also programming themselves how to say them. And when they actually come to act them, they just begin to say it like raw, automatic, like a machine. And it takes away all the spontaneity, it takes away all the aliveness, all the things that it is to be human. You can't fake real emotion. It's, at the end of the day, if you want to move an audience with emotion, you have to be emotional. And emotion's contagious. In fact, great actors usually have very poor impulse control, which is a good thing, right? Because it means that they're not second guessing about whether they should take an action or whether they should do something. They just do it impulsively. And that means it's very exciting to watch. And that's why we teach you how to, take these impulses and identify them.
I found I was conditioned in my job, which was cabin crew. So I'm always smiling at everybody. Always happy. So he actually unlocked certain emotions in me. So I could be angry, I could cry, I could shout at people. It was certain things that I'd never really done.
You become as free as you were when you were a kid. He teaches you that whatever you're doing is safe and to trust yourself.
But when actually somebody watches a great actor and the emotion that the actor is going through, the audience get infected by that emotion themselves and they start to go through it too. But that only happens if the actor's actually going through emotion. And there's a lot of actors that pretend to be emotional. They'll fake it, they'll pretend it, they'll force it, but ultimately it does not have the same effect as when somebody actually goes through it, and that's integral to the method too.
I've realised that acting's not just about words, it's about thoughts. And sometimes doing nothing has more of an impact on an audience, drawing them in, than saying 1,000 words. One word is more powerful than 1,000 words sometimes.
The combination is that in the end, the work becomes very spontaneous, organic, and real and deep and emotional. So it has this, huge impact on an audience. It doesn't just wash over them, it actually moves them at a deep level.